Ilaria Capalbo,
Yes.
thank you so much for your presence here
Thank you.
during jazzahead 2025. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Great.
I'm excited.
You're feeling well prepared?
I'm feeling well prepared. Yes.
I mean, if
it's never gonna be prepared enough, but I'm gonna be well prepared.
There's always a little bit more to
Yes.
do. Always, yeah. Ilaria, thank you very much again. We have a few questions for you. Jazzahead 2025. There's a lot of artists here, and you just talked a little bit about you never prepared enough. But how did you prepare? How was your process to prepare for Jazzahead 2025?
Well, I think I've tried to do when I got the news that I would be playing at the showcase, so it changed my perspective on attending the event entirely, actually. And so I tried to do a schedule and gather some contacts that I would like to reach out to, and then I focused on the music and on the band, and we tried to have fun with that. And I mean, in our case, we saw also as a occasion to present some new music that we have been working on, and it's unreleased. So it's an added bit of fun that we're playing some of this music for the first time.
Yeah.
So you mentioned this is the third time you're attending.
Yeah.
But the first time you're playing.
Yes.
How did you prepare for the earlier times? Because I think if the music does not play a significant role in your visit, what does?
If I have to be honest, the first time I was just curious and I just came here with no preparation, no expectation, open mind.
Yeah.
And I was overwhelmed entirely. And then the second time I was a little better prepared on just what to expect and the shape of it and the rhythm of it, but still far from organized. That is me. But
we'd love to see that back in your performances as well.
Yeah, but this time I feel like I have managed to do a little better or organize the job. So
Right. So regarding that, so how does Jazzhead 2025 aligns with your artistic goals of this very moment?
I think it's been quite a lucky strike for me, because I'm in a point in my career where I feel like I need to reach out more and reach out to a larger audience, reach out to some professionals who can help take the next steps in the career. I mean, maybe that's true for all musicians, I'm sure, but it's just now it feels like it's something that's gaining momentum with also new music and stuff. And so I am very glad that there was a showcase also at jazzahead.
Right. And is there, talking about your music and talking about your performance, is there a particular message you hope to convey with your music at this very moment?
Yeah, I would say so. I think the new music that I wrote is about. I wrote. It was inspired by this moment in my life where there was new motherhood and all those changes, and I think there's a lot of it in that. And if we want to talk about the message, maybe one thing that I would like to the world to see is that people who work in the performing arts, who are also parents or primary caregivers, can have a fulfilling career. It's not just the bohemian artist trope that works, but we are many and we are in every stage of life, and also this stage of life, which is like kind of fragile, but
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
very important. It works.
Your latest work, your upcoming work, actually, The Brightest Sun.
Yes.
That is very inspired by your new motherhood,
Yes.
right? And you said it's shaped by water instead of Carthago's ashes. And how does this fluidity redefine your sound, your compositional voice, and what's one lullaby you never put in your album?
Yeah, I think it's my music also with Carthago was my previous album. It's always about telling something, telling
Yeah.
a story or telling about something. So Carthago was took its name from the city, the old city of Carthago, that was destroyed during the Punic Wars by Rome. For those
Yeah.
who like history, but it's and so it was about destruction, reconstruction, in some way. This one is also about redefinition, but in another way. So it's like ideally it's a new chapter to the previous album, and I would say musically, if you ask me, compositionally, I think it's different in the process that I used to write some of the music, which is more immediate somehow.
Right.
In many ways, I think partly because I didn't have the same amount of time for working on that I had a few years ago. But I think the result is good. I'm happy with it.
Nice.
So if we take the story of Carthago and also you moving from Naples to Stockholm,
Yes.
how do these stories intertwine?
They intertwine very well, and you have caught the point entirely.
Please explain for the ones who
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, I moved permanently to Stockholm in 2019 after having studied there a few years for my master years. And then I moved, and then there was a pandemic, and so like the whole world changed form and
Yeah.
organization for a while. I think that album is about that process, not the pandemic, but the process of leaving something behind to find something new, hopefully, and all that it carries with it, which is a lot.
I can imagine.
So another question is also about the different energies between both cities, Naples and Stockholm. So
Yes.
Naples, there's this energy of chaos,
Chaos,
Right?
yes,
right? And Stockholm, order.
yeah, absolutely.
And how do these cultures shape / influence your music's balance between that complexity and that simplicity, that orderly and that chaotic?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think I never left the chaos. So somehow I'm still living in it.
You basically brought Naples to Stockholm.
Exactly. But yes, and but I think that I mean, being in Stockholm has also helped me. It's a radically different city, but it's helped me being more structured in my work, in my thoughts, in just in my profession, really. And that has helped a lot, because I mean, before I moved to Stockholm, I think I had the same amount of ideas, but I just there was not much getting done. But then
Right.
when I moved to Stockholm, it was like, but then maybe that's a possibility. So it's just like, I think that was a thing actually for me. Sorry, I'm
Organization brings
Oh.
motivation, I
yeah,
guess.
yeah, and I'm trying not to blend now. Swedish words come out every now and again, because it's like I learned.
We will
Swedish.
translate them,
It's
no
like-
worries.
Yeah.
So
Influences?
yeah,
Tell, for the people who don't know, who is Charlie Hayden?
Okay. Charlie Hayden was a very important bass player, American bass player, What was special about him is that he came from another world. He came from the world of country music, folk music, and he began playing from a very young age with his family. They were all musicians, and they went around and played, toured all together. And so he played the bass and he sang, and I think that element of the attachment to melody in his playing is what in a way defines his playing as if we compare it to some other bass players. And that's what I've always loved about his playing. And also he wrote a lot of music that I really like, very different in nature, but always very grounded in melody, I would say.
Right.
And it's been a great, biggest influence, perhaps.
Maybe a imaginary kind of question. But if Charlie Hayden was still here to hear the brightest sun, what do you think he would say?
I think he would like one tune in particular.
Which one?
The Brightest Sun.
The Brightest Sun. Okay.
It's the title track. But I for that tune in particular, I think I used an other approach. I just sang a melody into my phone. Like all truth explained into my phone, and then I just sat with the piano and found chords to it, and so it has a totally different vibe, but it's still mine.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
That was an eye opener.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And talking about your bass playing style. Critics said that your bass breathes and pulses like a living thing, which is nice.
Very.
What surprising emotion has your instrument made you feel on stage? And what surprises do you still hope to encounter with your instrument while playing?
I think what I like the most about the bass is that for me it's like a connection to the ground. And it's also the low frequencies have that kind of function in an ensemble, so ground. And I like that both on a very physical level, and also on another more abstract level. I like the earthiness of the bass, and I also like how it relates to its role in an ensemble, which is to lift and sustain the other musicians who play. I think that's an important aspect of my music also. Of course, there's also like the soloist part, which I love, but that's not the most important thing for me, if you ask me. There is that kind of bass player also, but that is not how I feel. For me, it's like the whole is more important, and I quite like to just come so that the others can shine.
Yeah.
So talking about collaborations, I mean, you've done collaborative work with Norma Winstone. You've done also collaboration with choreographer Freddie. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Freddie Hundekindo.
Hundekindo. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. So these collaborations, of course, it gets you a whole new creative input. But do you feel there's also a risk, or are there things that you have to step away from during these collaborations?
Yeah, I think the collaboration with dance, contemporary dance, it's been a challenge, but also very, very rewarding, incredibly. And because, I mean, that was a case where I needed to step out of my usual comfort zone and approach music in a whole other different way. Because we worked with improvisation with both music and dance. And the world of contemporary dance is also like extremely beautiful and complex, and I was like in awe all the time, and so I needed to like match. It was like another process for composing to that, for example. And then, but then if we talk about like big names like Norman Winslow, with whom I played once, but that is like another kind of challenge, because it's just that you feel like, wow, I'm playing really with this person,
Yeah,
and then it's like you want to now I don't go my words are failing me, but it's that you want to perform and deliver somehow, but it's also a matter of letting a flow happen.
Absolutely.
So that is like kind of
You have to
balance.
You want to show your best work, of course, what you're capable of, but also let the vibe develop between you two.
Yes.
I can, I believe that is challenging.
Harmony between ideas. That is the challenge.
Yeah.
And also, we have another question. You do teach classical bass
Yeah.
to kids by day,
Yeah.
and you compose by night.
Mm.
And what lesson from your students surprised you and made you a better artist?
I think when it comes to teaching, it's always, for me, it's always that I get so much from the students that I also give, but it's the part, the receiving part is always like a lot more than what you expect. And I teach both classical bass but also jazz now, and it's always like, I think the most rewarding part is to see that they are interested and that they want to continue, and there is that means something to them.
Yeah.
And it's also there's also a part where they maybe look for inspiration, and that is as equally as important as the technical aspect. So that is a challenge to keep them inspired and be an inspiring teacher.
Yeah.
But and that is that's very it gives very much.
Mm-hmm. And I want to talk a little bit more about your performance, and especially a mental aspect of your performance, because we read that you battled severe stage fright, right? Right now, in this day and age, what do you tell yourself before performing now, and how did motherhood change your fears?
Well, that's a very good question. I did have stage fright, entirely true, and I still have it. Actually, it's not to the same degree, but it's always like it's always there, a moment between before playing. It's just that I have now some tools to just handle it better, and a great part of it is just to like remember that it lasts just a little bit into the performance. Right. Maybe the first 30 seconds are awful, but then what comes next is better. And I've learned to breathe, which is also very important. Always.
Breathing is very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Essential part.
Yeah. Essential part. And it's like, I when I was on stage at the beginning of my career, I noticed that I would hold my breath entirely for like the first tune. I would breathe like very shallow, and it was like all of a sudden when the first tune was over, so I would like take a breath, and I realized, what? I have not been breathing it at
What's
all.
going on?
What's going on? Yeah. And then now I try to remember to do that, and I have also some instruments that have helped me with both stage fright and anxiety and other aspects of my life. And Yeah. As a mother, I mean, I think it's also about keeping your cool a lot of the time, and yeah, that is helpful. I can recommend it like universally to try and do breath work.
Yeah.
Plus, I can imagine that becoming a parent or becoming a mother in your case gives you a whole new league of things to be afraid of.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
does
God.
does the stage fright then actually
Then-
becomes less?
Yes, absolutely. There is like that. Yeah, it's a whole new level of anxiety that you wouldn't have imagined before. But it's good. It's manageable.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, I hope so. Like
things will get better.
things will get
Absolutely.
better. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ilaria, thank you very much for your presence
Thank you so
here,
much.
for your time and for your answers. We have one final question,
Yes.
which is a bit of an open question. If your music could rebuild one lost city from history, which would it be?
And why?
And what sound would be played through its streets?
Complex
Yeah,
question.
take your time.
Yeah. I'm tempted to say Cartago because it's the first thing that comes to mind, but maybe there's some more.
There must be
There must be. Yeah.
an answer that is slightly less easy.
Yeah. That is hard. Maybe Alexandria.
Speak.
Speak.
Explain.
Yeah. I mean, maybe because it was a center for somehow development. Cartago had its dark sides, but Alexandria was all about philosophy and advancement of knowledge, and also it was like the world's greatest book collection.
Fantastic. Nice.
And what sound would it be played? I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I imagine something very flowy, maybe free from structures and things like that.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Thank you
so much.
Have
for
a blast
inviting
at this
me.
edition of Jazzahead, and
Yeah.
we wish you all the best of luck during your performance.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy
Thank you.